The small-town diner on the edge of Route 66 smelled of fresh coffee, sizzling bacon, and apple pie cooling on the counter. It was a Saturday afternoon, the kind where locals gathered to chat over bottomless refills and share stories from the week. Among them was Emily, a 17-year-old girl who had been in a wheelchair since a car accident 5 years earlier. She came here often with her mother, but today she had convinced her to let her go alone, just to prove she could handle things independently. Emily wheeled herself to a corner booth, ordered a chocolate milkshake and a plate of fries, and pulled out her sketchbook. Drawing was her escape, a way to capture the world on paper when her legs no longer could. The diner was moderately busy, a trucker at the counter nursing black coffee, an elderly couple sharing a slice of pie, a family with 2 young kids coloring on placemats, and the waitress, Martha, who knew Emily by name and always slipped her an extra cherry. Everything felt normal until the door jingled open and 4 teenage boys strode in. They were locals too, high school seniors known for causing minor trouble, skipping class, loud laughs that bordered on disruptive, the kind of kids who thought cruelty was confidence. Their leader, Jake, spotted Emily immediately. He nudged his friends and smirked. "Look at that," he muttered, loud enough for her to hear. "Wheelie girl thinks she's people." Emily's cheeks burned, but she kept her eyes on her sketchbook, gripping the pencil tighter. The boys slid into the booth behind her, their voices carrying. They started with whispers that grew bolder, imitating her movements, laughing about how she couldn't even run away if she wanted. Martha glanced over nervously but stayed behind the counter, wiping the same spot over and over. The other patrons shifted uncomfortably, avoiding eye contact. No one wanted trouble. Jake stood up first, sauntering over to Emily's table. His friends followed, forming a semicircle around her wheelchair. "Hey, cripple," he said, snatching a fry from her plate and popping it into his mouth. "These any good, or do you need help chewing too?" The others howled with laughter. Emily's voice trembled as she asked them to leave her alone, but that only fueled them. One boy, Tyler, reached out and spun her wheelchair slightly, making her jolt. "Oops, sorry, didn't see you down there." Jake leaned in closer, his face inches from hers. "What are you gonna do about it? Cry?" The tension peaked when Jake, emboldened by the silence around them, raised his hand and slapped her lightly across the cheek, not hard enough to bruise badly, but enough to sting and humiliate. The sound echoed in the quiet diner. Emily's eyes filled with tears, her hand flying to her face. A gasp escaped from the elderly couple, and the trucker half stood before sitting back down, muttering under his breath. Martha finally approached, voice shaking. "Boys, that's enough. Leave her be." But Jake just grinned. "Relax, lady. It's just a joke." They sauntered back to their booth, high-fiving, while Emily sat frozen, milkshake untouched, tears dripping onto her sketchbook. Unseen by most, the trucker at the counter had pulled out his phone under the bar. He was part of a local motorcycle club, the Road Guardians, a group of veterans and riders who looked out for the vulnerable in their community. He'd texted the group chat, "Bullies harassing disabled girl at Joe's diner. Slapped her. Need backup." Replies flooded in immediately, engines revving across town. But for now, the diner remained tense, the boys still snickering, Emily quietly wheeling toward the door to leave, her independence shattered for the day. Little did anyone know, the roar was coming. An hour ticked by slowly in the diner. The bullies had ordered burgers, eating loudly and recounting their prank with exaggerated gestures, drawing occasional forced chuckles from one another. Emily had left shortly after the slap, helped quietly by Martha, who whispered apologies and offered a free shake next time. The patrons resumed their meals in awkward silence, the incident hanging like smoke in the air. Jake and his friends felt invincible, no one had stopped them, no consequences in sight. "Easy target," Jake bragged, dipping a fry in ketchup. "Bet she's telling her mommy right now." Outside, the afternoon sun glinted off chrome as a dozen motorcycles pulled into the gravel lot, engines growling in unison before cutting off. The bikers dismounted, big men in leather vests patched with the Road Guardian's emblem, beards, tattoos, and boots that thudded heavily. Their leader, Big Mike, a former Marine with a salt and pepper beard and calm eyes, led the way. The trucker nodded subtly from his stool as they entered, the door jingling like a warning bell. The diner fell silent again as the bikers filed in, filling the space with their presence. They didn't shout or threaten, they simply walked straight to the Bullies' booth. Jake looked up mid-bite, his smirk fading as he registered the wall of leather before him. Can we help you?" he stammered. Big Mike ignored him at first, scanning the room before addressing the whole diner in a deep, steady voice. "We heard there was some trouble here earlier. A young lady in a wheelchair got disrespected, slapped, even." His eyes locked on Jake. "That true, son?" The boys shifted uncomfortably, Tyler muttering something about it being a joke. Big Mike pulled up chairs from nearby tables, the group surrounding the booth without crowding too close. "See, we're a club that rides for folks who can't always stand up for themselves, vets, kids, anyone getting pushed around." He gestured to his vest, patches honoring fallen brothers and anti-bullying rides. "Hitting a girl who can't fight back. That's not tough. That's cowardice." The other bikers nodded, arms crossed, their sheer size making the teens shrink. One biker, a gentle giant named Rico, spoke up. "We ain't here to hurt you boys. That'd make us no better. But you need to understand something." He pulled out his phone, showing photos from club events, riding with disabled kids, charity runs. "Real strength is protecting, not hurting." Big Mike added, "Apologize to the diner, to Martha here who's too kind to kick you out, and especially to that girl when you see her next." The bullies, faces pale, mumbled apologies, Jake's voice cracking as he promised it wouldn't happen again. But the bikers weren't done. They ordered meals, sitting with the boys, sharing stories of their own hardships, lost limbs in war, bullying in youth, and how kindness turned things around. By the end, the teens were listening, defenses down. Big Mike paid for everyone's food, including the bullies, and left them with a warning: word spreads fast in this town. Choose better next time. As the motorcycles roared away, the diner buzzed with relief and admiration. Word reached Emily later that evening, the bikers had stood for her. She smiled for the first time that day, sketching a new drawing, guardians on bikes watching over the road. The incident became legend, a reminder that silence enables cruelty, but courage, unexpected and kind, can restore faith. The bullies changed too, volunteering at a local disability center months later, learning what real respect meant.